Hello out there, it's Wake Angel 2001. Got a new shirt on, and I made sure to get the one with all the Japanese text on top because we are talking about Sonic X, one of the last Sonic cartoons. Running for 78 episodes. This is the longest of the Sonic cartoons, beating out the older Deke cartoons by at least 10 episodes or so. First airing in the fall of 2003, and remaining on air until about a month ago when Vortex, the last Saturday morning cartoon block, finally ended, was canceled, that is. That left it in reruns for, well, it had new episodes for a couple years, but it was basically on television for, boxing the camera, it was basically on television for what? 11 years? That pretty much makes it the longest lasting and most successful of the Sonic cartoons, as it remained in reruns on a major network for the longest time. In fact, I don't think there's been a time when this cartoon has been off air for a significant amount of time until the Vortex block was canceled. So let's talk about the series. I remember back in 2003, this is the year I started college, and also because I lived in a dorm room, it was the first year I had access to broadband internet. One of the first videos that I ever streamed on that broadband internet was the first episode of this cartoon. Back then that was a big deal. I don't remember if it was on the 4Kids website or on the Fox Box or whatever the cartoon block back then was called, but they had a streaming video preview of the first episode the week before the episode actually aired on television. And at the time, this was a big deal. This was simply something that didn't happen back then. This is before the advent of YouTube. So what happens? I love the first episode. The first episode of Sonic X is it's great. Like, all by itself, it's pretty fantastic. The episode starts with Sonic laying siege to one of Dr. Robotnik's bases, and there's missiles and giant robots with cool mech designs. We get a quick look at pretty much the entire cast. We see Tails and Amy flying in the tornado, and Tails shoots a missile that has a power ring that gives Sonic a boost of speed and strength, just like it does in the Sat AM cartoon. Then there's we get a quick look at Rouge the Bat, who's sitting in the rafters looking for an opportunity to steal the Chaos Emeralds. We see Cream is trapped with cheese in a bubble, saying that Sonic is gonna take him out like he always does. We have Dr. Eggman. He's having a plan. He's doing stuff. It's cool. Like, that's one major point for the Sonic X cartoon, the anime. It's the first cartoon that really has fully realized cartoon equivalents to the video game characters, both in terms of their physical appearances and in their personalities. Now, I can't speak very much for the English dub because although some of the voice actors are quite good, some of them are really bad, particularly Cream. She has this voice that's really high-pitched and squealy, and also at the same time kind of throaty. So I don't understand what they were going for with that voice, because it doesn't sound like a little girl. It sounds like an aroused woman on helium. It just doesn't work. Cream's voice is terrible. Then again, Cream's voice is, except for the actual Japanese dub actress, I never heard a good voice for Cream. It's always sounded terrible. But I digress. So, Sonic lays siege to the base, and he gets to Eggman, and Eggman calls up this robot that shoots at Sonic, and it damages the machine, and when he tries to activate it, it malfunctions, and instead of using the Chaos Emeralds for whatever plan he had, it causes this big chaos control wave to go around the countryside and engulf everybody, and then Sonic wakes up in the middle of a street, where the populace is kind of freaked out at this weird blue creature running around. And the cops chase after him, but he's too fast, he evades everything. So they call out the Speed Team. It's a special division of the police force that drives modified Indy 500 racers so that they can drive a whole lot faster on the road. So supposedly they're the only people that can keep up with Sonic. What follows is actually a pretty cool chase scene. Sonic's running from them, and he jumps up onto the roof of one of the cars, and then this is pretty hilarious. Like, hey, what are you doing up there? What if kids imitated this? And then Sonic points to the camera and says, kids, don't use Indy 500 racers to chase hedgehogs. That was the English version. In the Japanese version, he actually looks at the camera and says, kids, don't ride on top of cars. So, the original Japanese version is actually a quick homage to the Sonic Says PSAs from the Adventures cartoon. The English dub version is just Sonic being sarcastic towards a cop. I think I like the original Japanese version, but the English dub version has its charm as well. So after seeing Sonic playing around with them, you see them do tech stuff to make their cars go as fast as they can, and then they look up on their instruments to see Sonic running away from them backwards, which is awesome. This shows Sonic's ego and his jokesterness and his stubborn refusal to take anything seriously, and like that's a real laugh out loud moment. So the leader, Sam Speed, he tells everyone to clear a path so that he can go at full speed. He activates his special nitrous tank that allows his car to go at almost 600 miles per hour, like almost as fast as a jet. That's impressive. And just when he thinks that he's finally outspeeded Sonic, boom! Sonic runs by so fast it creates a sonic boom, completely blitzing past Sam's speed and making him look like an idiot as he disappears down the highway. But then it turns out that the highway is under construction and it just comes to an end. So Sonic goes rocketing off the edge, and the wind in his wake is so fast that it causes a wind farm outside the city to suddenly start spinning really fast from the gale force blow. This causes a power surge that makes all the lights in the cities light up really brilliantly. And it's a really nice scene. So Sonic is resolving himself to get used to this new world when he lands, of all places, in a swimming pool. And there's one thing that this Sonic the Hedgehog really established: Sonic can't swim at all. In fact, in this cartoon, he is outright hydrophobic. He is terrified of bodies of water. There's a point where he lands in a stream and he's just going, ah, 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 before he realizes that he's in about 3 inches of water and he looks like a complete idiot. So yes, Sonic can't swim for crap. And he's in the bottom of this swimming pool. He can't swim. He can't jump high enough to reach the surface. And when he sees the ladder, he tries to go to it, but he can't get any traction on the smooth pool bottom to walk across the bottom. So he's pretty much screwed. Sonic the Hedgehog, hero of many. At this point, he'd been around for about 12 years. Fighter of Dr. Eggman is about to die because he can't get out of an ordinary swimming pool. And that's when the kid that he woke up jumps into the pool to rescue him. This is Chris Thorndyke. And then the entire series sucked after that. I'm being facetious. The series doesn't outright suck, but Chris is a terrible, terrible character. Because after this first episode, the series no longer focuses on Sonic. Sonic X suffers from what I like to call Transformers Armada Syndrome. A couple of years before the Sonic X anime was made, they made a reboot to the Transformers franchise in the form of an anime called Transformers Armada. This was supposed to be like Sonic X. It was super hyped before it came out. It was supposed to be a return to form, with after Beast Wars and Beast Machines had ended. This is supposed to be a cartoon where the Transformers come back and they can turn into vehicles again. So you get the traditional Optimus Prime and Megatron and all that stuff that's supposed to be cool. The problem is that when the anime actually aired, the Transformers didn't get as much screen time in it. The focus was on this new race of robots called the Minicons and the 3 children who discovered them. Like, the show's about these 3 kids. The Transformers are just making glorified cameos in every episode. There is even episodes where the Transformers pointedly don't use their weapons in the presence of humans, not necessarily because it's going to put the humans at risk, but because they don't want to be a bad influence. So yeah, it's just not, like, that's what Sonic X is. The show is about Chris Thorndyke for the most part. And Sonic usually just goes off and does his thing while the cameras, for want of a better term, focus on whatever bullcrap Chris is doing. Then there's a problem, and then Sonic comes in and saves the day. So it's about Chris getting in trouble and Sonic saving him. Sonic is the guest star of his own series. I don't know what they were thinking when they wrote that. And you think, well, what, maybe Chris is at least an identifiable point of view character that the kids can truly identify with? Chris is the son of a billionaire software mogul and the most famous movie star on the planet. His grandfather is a world-famous scientist. He lives in a palatial estate staffed with a ninja butler and a charmingly ethnic maid. Frankly, it's amazing that this gigantic estate can be maintained by only 2 people, but I digress. His uncle was Sam Speed, that super awesome cop from the Speed division I mentioned earlier. This is the Gary Stu that all Gary Stus aspire to be. This is the ultimate Mary Sue character. I mean, and did I mention that not only is he a straight-A student, but he's actually pretty popular and well-liked, and has quite a few friends at school. So we don't even have that. Like, this kid is the absolute perfect cipher. There is absolutely no flaw in his life. I guess they put in a little bit of a heavy is the crown because one of his parents is a famous movie actor and the other runs a billionaire multinational corporation. They're kind of busy and can't dedicate as much time to him as he'd like. But boo freaking who? I mean, it's not like they don't like you. Whenever we see that, not only is his grandfather actually a live-in grandpa who spends time with him, we see that when his parents actually do get to spend time with him, they care about him. They want to spend time with him, and they lament that they can't because of their busy schedules. So this isn't like some indifferent rich family that just had their child to maintain their bloodline. And they wish they could spend more time with him, and the few times they do, they make it special. Chris Thorndyke has absolutely no right to be some sad, oppressed child, some latchkey kid. He doesn't need to have superheroes hang out in his attic to be cool and happy. He should be the happiest kid in the universe. He's Richie goddamn rich. Richie Rich wishes he could be this kid. And again, it's not like, despite being rich and famous and powerful, he could be depressed, but, there's no reason for him to be depressed. I mean, you could easily write a rich kid who's still sad. I mean, for crap's sake, Remy Bucks-a-Plenty from the Fairly Odd Parents is a perfect example of a child who, despite great wealth and power, is isolated from other children and alienated by his uncaring parents. Remy freaking Bucks-a-Plenty from the Fairy Goddamn Parents cartoon is a more sympathetic character than Chris Thorndyke. The least sympathetic character in not only in Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons, but in all of fiction, in my opinion. I hate Chris Thorndyke. The fandom hated Chris Thorndyke. And the fact that the series is 90% focused on him for the first couple of story arcs really brings the quality of this show down. I don't know how long I've been ranting on it, but I feel like I could keep ranting on how terrible a decision this was for another half hour. But let's move on. Chris Thorndyke aside, how else is the cartoon? It's actually pretty lackluster for quite a while. Yeah, mostly because we're focusing on Chris, and Sonic is basically making cameos in the episode. the show is actually pretty darn slow-paced and frankly boring. For like the first 12 episodes, like, it's pretty boring. Of course, we get to see the other characters. We meet Amy, we meet Tails, Cream, Knuckles. Cream is a character that was introduced into the video games a few months prior because they wanted her to be in this cartoon. They wanted her to be the character that appeals to the really young kids in the audience. I mean, it's not like Tails is an 8-year-old mechanical prodigy who is both a young child and cool and interesting. No, we have Cream the Rabbit, who sits on the couch and watches children's television all day. I mean, yeah, there is the fact that Cream, as the only character in the cast that has a parent, she has Vanilla as her mother. The fact that she misses her mother is actually a driving force for her character, except that it's not really focused on. It gets highlighted in this one episode where Chris's mother gets to come home and she wants to throw a party for him. And Cream is happy that there's going to be a party, and she even tries to help decorate. It's because, bless her heart, she's so cute. But then when Chris's mother is called away for a reshoot of a film she just shot, it's sad, and Chris makes an offhanded comment on how she couldn't make it, and Cream gets mad at him. Cream is like, she wanted to be here for you and just couldn't. At least you can see her every now and then or call her on the phone. I don't even have that. Of course, it's Cream saying it, so it sounds like, I don't even have that. Yeah. So yeah, that's cathartic. That's character development. That gets approximately 45 seconds of screen time before we go back to Chris's sob party. Pity party. Chris's freaking pity parties. I hate Chris! I hate Chris so much! I did not think I was going to get this riled up and ranty for this video. Alright, so yeah, there's also a storyline focus on the Chaos Emeralds, and Robotnik uses a deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards to summon up a robot, which one of them is Missile Wrist, and the rest of them are really stupid. Yeah, like, we see these awesome giant mechs and machine gun robots in the first episode. We don't see anything like that for the rest of the series. I mean, some of them are kind of cool, I guess, like the Lady Ninja robot that fights with Rouge and Knuckles, or, I guess, that giant transforming robot. One of them actually looks like an homage to Getter Robo, and then there's the giant Starship Enterprise battleship that turns into a giant mecha that beats the crap out of Sonic until Sonic gets the 7 Chaos Emeralds and turns into Super Sonic. First cartoon appearance of Super Sonic, and it's glorious. He completely annihilates the thing. That's an awesome moment. That's the thing. This series had awesome moments. It's punctuated by great moments of awesome, but it's mired down by a bunch of mediocre crap. Like this series, it's like the people who wrote this series completely forgot that Sonic the Hedgehog had older fans. Like, I was already in my 20s when this series first aired. Like, I was 18 when this series first aired. But, I'm sure there were other people who were in their 20s who were fans. Besides, 18, technically an adult. But no, don't need any older fans. This show is made for 7-year-olds. Yeah, the show's, there were funny moments, like a montage sequence of Sonic trying to go underwater, like, breathe through this garden hose, hold this bell over your head. You know what, maybe we should just run some scuba gear. I love the look that Sonic gives the camera, like, scuba gear. There's also one where Dr. Robotnik tries to build a robot teacher. Yeah, that episode sucked. There was an episode where he took over a theme park. That one was kind of cool. Where Amy Rose got really pissed off at him for breaking a shell bracelet she had made for Sonic, and she used her Pico hammer to completely annihilate a giant centipede robot he had built out of roller coaster parts. And and then when it exploded, she crashed in the ocean, and Sonic actually jumped in the ocean to save her, despite, he hates the water. So, a little bit of character development there. There's an episode, one of the episodes that was intended to be funny and succeeded at being funny was the yacht episode. This is an episode where Chris took Sonic and his friends out on his gigantic yacht, because of course Chris has a gigantic yacht, and Sonic hates life. Sonic hates being confined. He has no place to go on the ship. He's terrified of water, and what's more, he gets seasick. So we're just seeing an entire episode of Sonic being seasick and unhappy and stir-crazy, and it is adorable and hilarious. I love it. I love that episode for its comedy, because it wanted to be funny, and it genuinely was funny. There wasn't a lot of action in it, but it's okay because it succeeded at being funny. Because there are so many episodes that try to be funny and suck, or try to have action and fail at it. But that yacht episode was genuinely funny, and I would watch that episode again. Then there are episodes with Chris's classmates. They're kind of lame. In fact, they even made one episode where there's rumors of a Chaos Emerald, and Rouge, it's that one where they introduce Rouge the Bat. She knows that they're gonna go to the district to get the emerald from the warehouse, so she turns a sign around. And this is an episode where Danny, the black kid, he was gonna hang out with them for the first time. Like, all right, we're gonna find a Chaos Emerald. And then they follow this sign. They go the wrong direction. And Danny's experience is pretty much what my experience was watching this show. Like, I thought it was going to be so exciting and fun, and I'm just kind of sitting around waiting for something to happen. Meanwhile, Rouge gets herself arrested. She hits on a lady cop, Topaz. Haha, Topaz, it's the name of a precious stone. Look at that. Write all the Yuri fanfics you want. And Rouge is basically blackmailed into serving as a government agent. Oh hey, that's how they make her a government agent. Hardy hardy har. Blah 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 blah. There is also this kind of plot thread where when the Chaos Emeralds are brought together, they kind of resonate with each other and create these huge pillars of chaos energy and light. Sometimes this actually acts as a beacon to find the new Chaos Emerald, and other times Chris's father would set a Chaos Emerald on a ring because he wants to give the gaudiest gift in history to his wife in the middle of a film shoot and make a complete asshole out of himself and interrupt a $1 million film project. Because everyone in this show is stupid. I don't like Chris's family either. Oh, by the way, Chris's grandpa is named Chuck. Reference! Because reference! Oh, why? Alright, so you're probably expecting me to say that the series really picked up around the story arcs where they started following the plot from the video games. Because they didn't homage the video games. They straight out did adaptations of Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 as full-on story arcs in this story. To which I say, alright, fine. But, I already saw those stories when I played the games. All you're doing is rehashing storylines that anybody who's watching the show already knows about. You're not telling an original story, so all we can do is watch and nitpick the flaws in your retelling of the story. Like, for example, why the hell is Chris delivering all of Amy's lines in the space station? Yeah, like, oh hey, here's Chris Thorndyke. What's he doing here? Let's have him say all the things that Amy Rose said in the video game that helped Shadow turn good, while Amy Rose is standing right next to him. People are going to point out that the Mary Sue character is just stealing all of Amy's lines. How about after every sentence, Shadow punts him into a wall? Yeah! Awesome! That's awesome! We get to see Chris get punted into a wall! Oh, but that's a little bit too violent for the American dub, so let's be sure to cut it out when we air it in America. Yeah, and also, speaking of the Sonic Adventure 2 adaptation, I guess the Sonic Adventure 1 adaptation was pretty competent. There was nothing really wrong with it aside from the fact that it's a pure regurgitation. The Sonic Adventure 2 adaptation had a real flaw. Because remember, that's where Shadow gets introduced. Okay. Do you guys remember in Sonic Adventure 2, Rouge has a level where she has to infiltrate a government vault to retrieve the Chaos Emeralds? But at the end, she's found out, she has to fight the boss, and then the safe is locked down so she can't escape. This is while the island is rigged to explode. So she's trapped in a vault that's going to blow up under her, and she's going to die. Shadow, hearing this, he runs through his level, White Jungle, and he gets into the safe with seconds to spare, and without thinking, he grabs her and Chaos controls them both to safety. Afterwards, Rouge thanks him, but he says, I was just saving the Chaos Emeralds, not necessarily you. And that shows a glimmer of Shadow's character development. Like, at this point in the game, we're still supposed to think he's a bad guy, but there's just a little hint that maybe he's not such a bad guy deep down. How is this scene treated in the anime? Well, of course, for some insipid reason I don't even remember, Chris is in the same vault with Rouge, so he's sitting there. And Shadow comes in, and he takes the Chaos Emeralds and is about to teleport it away by himself, leaving Rouge and Chris to their fate. And Chris has to plead and beg Shadow to save them too. This makes Shadow into a much bigger villain than he ever was in the game. I mean, this is a guy who's willing to allow an innocent child and one of his allies die horribly in an explosion. And he has to be talked down from it. Instead of just being a guy who supposedly has evil plans going on, but on an impulse does something good, like when he doesn't have time to think, he saves somebody. Here, he's about to leave people to die and has to be convinced, alright, I'll help you. So that is where the adaptation goes wrong. That's where this is an inferior version. And like I said, when all is said and done, all you're doing is retelling stories that the audience already knows. And any differences you make are going to be picked out as flaws. Because you're not telling your own story. You're telling someone else's story. So what happened when these video game adaptations ended and they got back to telling their own stories? Well, they introduced the Chaotix and Emerald. This is around the time that Sonic Battle and Sonic Heroes came out, so they're introducing the Chaotix, and they're fun. I mean, the Chaotix were a little more than comic relief, but they did reunite Vanilla and Cream, so that was nice. We got to get Vanilla back in the cast. I mean, she doesn't really do much besides being Cream's mom, but she never really did much in the video games anyway. And Emerald, he's with us for quite a while. They found him in the space station where Shadow was. And they found that he didn't really have... It looked like his memory had been wiped. But he learns. He stays with the family. He learns. He starts copying Sonic's moves. And then they have a Sonic battle arc. They have they recover a Chaos Emerald, and they decide to have a fighting tournament to see who gets to win the Chaos Emerald. And they fight in this tournament, and Sonic. The finale comes down to Knuckles and Emerald, and Emerald wins the fight, and he gets the Chaos Emerald, and it makes him go insane. It turns out that he was a weapon of destruction, and the Chaos Emerald has activated his latent programming, and now he's gonna mess everything up. And the strongest fighters left at the tournament, Rouge and Knuckles, are too exhausted from fighting each other to actually fight Emerald off. And even Sonic isn't able to defeat him. So who defeats him? Cream and Cheese. Since they can attack as a tandem pair, he can't copy their moves as fast. So Cream and Cheese are the ones who destroy him. But this is a real tragedy because Cream and Cheese spent all their time with him. He was like a combination of their best friend and their favorite toy. And the fact that they were forced to destroy him is really sad. It's a genuinely tragic moment. Even in Emerald's final seconds, when the last thing he sees is Cream's crying face, and he copies her tear. And this tear of oil flows out of his eye as he sinks beneath the waves and then explodes. It's genuinely sad and cathartic. And it makes you wish that more of the series had great character development like that. Especially for a minor background character like Cream. But really, besides moments like this, I can go on naming moments and moments and moments, but really the show doesn't really do anything particular to wow me. It remains mediocre pretty much for the first 52 episodes, the first 2 seasons. The first 26 episodes, 52 episodes is the initial run. And let's just talk about how the first 52 episodes ended. They start to notice that a lot of people start breaking speed and time records, and they find that this is because time itself is starting to flow slower. It turns out that the mixing of Sonic's world, which never gets an official name, it's just called Sonic's world, with Earth, is causing temporal flux and dimensional problems, so that wibbly wobbly timey wimey time is eventually going to stop flowing and everyone will be frozen forever. So they have to get a machine, a wormhole generator that kind of looks like a little kitty, like baby's first Stargate, which they use the Chaos Emeralds to do a controlled chaos control to return all of the elements of Sonic's world back to where they belong, so that time can flow well in both lands. Now Chris is unwilling to let this go, his selfish little brat that he is, so he grabs Sonic and they spend the last day together, and Sonic returns to his own world, and the last episode is Chris as an 18-year-old. Remember how I said he was a straight A student? Well, apparently he's a child prodigy, because by the time he's 18, he already has like a PhD in wormhole dynamics or whatever, because he's developing a machine that will allow him to go to Sonic's world. And that's where Series 2 starts. So yeah, my impression of the first 56 episodes is that it's not a great series. It's okay, it has some shining moments of awesome, but for the most part it's a very mediocre and even lackluster series. But then Series 2 came out, and I like Series 2. Okay, if we take the entire Sonic X anime as one lump sum, I would personally rank it as less enjoyable than the Sonic the Movie OVA or the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. But Series 2, taken by itself as a standalone series, also known as the Metarex saga, I consider this to be the next best Sonic cartoon after Sad AM. Because the Metarex saga is actually really cool. First of all, it's an original story. They're not rehashing crap from the games. It takes place in Sonic's world, so we don't have to deal with all the crap and baggage of Chris or his family or any politics of the human world. All that's done away with. Except for Chris himself, he manages to chaos control himself in. And because there's a temporal difference between the two worlds, 6 years pass in his world, only 6 months pass in Sonic's world. When he travels from one world to the other, his particles snap to match the temporal change, so he turns back into a 12-year-old boy. A 12-year-old boy who has a PhD and memories of an 18-year-old. I don't know if he lost his virginity, but his girlfriend was paralyzed from the waist down, so I doubt he did. Sorry, that was mean. That was slightly offensive. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, so yeah, this series introduces a new character, Cosmo. Her design is loosely based off of Lumina Flowlight from Sonic Shuffle, a Mario Party clone game from the Dreamcast. She's the last survivor of a civilization of sentient plant people, and she is a good new character. She has a fully realized story arc. She forms a relationship with Tails, forms real romantic bonds, like a relationship that actually develops. It's beautiful to see an original character created for the series who stylistically matches and blends in with the main Sonic cast and forms real relationships that the viewing audience can get invested in. That's fantastic! And we get these new enemies, the Metarex, the leader of whom, Black Oak, is actually powerful enough to go toe-to-toe with Super Sonic. Super Sonic, finding himself unable to beat Black Oak, actually uses Chaos Control to teleport the Chaos Emeralds randomly around the galaxy so that he won't be able to find them. And then they use the Master Emerald to power a spaceship so they can travel around the galaxy to retrieve the Chaos Emerald, a la Dragon Ball GT. And it's good. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens. Like, there's story arcs and characters, and sure, the dub fails us a little bit, but this part of the show is genuinely good. It's a genuinely interesting action show set in space. Like, we don't have the first series where Tails takes the beloved and iconic Tornado 2 and replaces it with a knockoff Macross ship. Like it looks like a jet plane and it can grow legs to walk around. Hardy Heart kind of looks like a Macross plane, but oh my god, is it such a bland and boring jet design. It just kind of looks like an X-Wing by way of Macross, and it's not a very interesting plane design at all, especially when you consider that it's supposed to be the replacement for the beloved Tornado 2 that the biplane that we've been attached to since Sonic 2, and just got a new paint job for Sonic Adventure 2. Ranting, things I don't like. But yeah, like, we get a full-on battle between Super Sonic and Super Shadow. We get the tragic ends of multiple civilizations, including Shadow failing to save this girl, reminding him of his failure to save Maria. We find out that the Metarex are actually the same race as Cosmo. What a twist! I mean, surely it's slightly hinted at in that the bad guys are named like Dark Oak, Dark Narcissus. Like, they're named after plants, and Cosmo's a plant. So it turns out that the males of her species, they could do this transformation to fight, but the transformation is fatal to them. So they're trying to engineer a way to make the transformation non-fatal, and Oak, the leader of the planet, he finds a way to do this by harnessing the energy of the planet egg, which is the source of life for a home planet, for a life-bearing planet. This has a side effect of completely destroying the planet's environment, but by this point he's just obsessed with winning this war, and he's lost sight of his world. So the females of this species, they flee in a spaceship with the last mother tree, of which the last fruit it bore was Cosmo. And we also get to see like when they can't recover the Chaos Emeralds for themselves, they try to create artificial Chaos Emeralds, but there's an imbalance in the negative energy in them, and when Sonic harnesses their energy, he turns into Dark Super Sonic. Like, his fur turns black, his eyes completely white out, he completely, absolutely shreds through two two super Metarex robots that Dark Narcissus wanted to use to test his power. This stuff, interesting stuff. Like, this is why I consider Sonic X Series 2, taken as itself, is the next best Sonic cartoon after Sad AM. And I'm just gonna keep saying that. And the show ends with in order to defeat Dark Oak, save the Chaos Emeralds, and restore the Planet X back to their home planets, Cosmo has to sacrifice her life. It's tragic, and Tails has to be the one to pull the trigger on it. Oh my god! Isn't that like... Oh my god! Tails has to pull the trigger to kill the woman he loves to save the universe. That's awesome. In the end, Sonic is able to save a seed, a Cosmo seed. It's ambiguous because at this point the sub and dub argue with each other. It's not known whether this is just a seed of new life for Cosmo's people, or if Cosmo herself is able to reincarnate through the seed. We don't know because all we ever see is that the seed is planted and it grows a sapling. We never get to see what actually happens. What we do get to see happen is Dr. Eggman kill Chris. Alright, he doesn't literally kill Chris. What happens is that Dr. Eggman says that the dimensions are aligned now, and that's the only real reason that Chris was able to come into Sonic's world. But the dimensions are only going to remain aligned for another few minutes. And he doesn't know what the pattern is. It could be that the dimensions will keep aligning every day, or once this alignment ends, it could be 10,000 years. He doesn't know. So he tells Chris to get onto a rocket ship, which will send him back into his own world. And but he doesn't know if Chris is going to snap back to his original 18 years old age, or if he's going to stay a kid when he goes back to that world. There isn't enough data. So Chris, having no time to say official goodbyes, gets in this rocket ship, it's launched away, Sonic runs along and follows the rocket ship until it disappears, and that's how the series ends. I like to think that Dr. Eggman was lying, and the rocket ship went up into the upper atmosphere where no one would see it, and then exploded, turning Chris into a fine mist, which will never again plague the franchise, but, you know, that part is left ambiguous. One can dream. So yeah, that's my basic overview and opinions of Sonic X. As a whole, the series has a slow start. It has fully realized adaptations of two of the most popular games in the franchise, some character development, and a second season which is awesome. Well, a second series. I think every 12 episodes counts as a season, or you could say that every 24 episodes counts as a season. But it's pretty clear, like, Series 1, the first 52 episodes, and Series 2, the remaining 26, are definitely meant to be two separate entities. And Series 2 is awesome. Alright, this video has gone really long, but to say, like, wow, it's past 40 minutes. So yeah, I hope you guys sat through all this. The Sonic Boom cartoon premieres tomorrow, so that's when the proper Boom vlogs are going to start. Hopefully this video will be posted by then, because I know it takes a long time to upload. Speaking of long uploads, why am I dragging this out? Wake Angels 2001, signing out.